Today I want to share with you one of my favorite passages and parables that Jesus talks about in his Galilean ministry. And it's located in Matthew chapter 25, verse 1 to 13. Then the kingdom of heaven will be comparable to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were prudent. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the prudent took oil in flasks along with their lamps. Now while the bridegroom was delaying, they all got drowsy and began to sleep. But at midnight there was a shout, "Behold, the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the prudent, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the prudent answered, "No, there will not be enough for us and you too. So go instead to the dealers and buy some for yourselves." And while they were going away to make the purchase, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. Later the other virgins also came, saying, "Lord, Lord, open up for us." But he answered, "Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Therefore be on the alert then, for you do not know the day nor the hour." And so to really understand this passage, we need to go back into the historical context. It states that the kingdom of heaven will be like a bridegroom in his wedding ceremony. You see, during the time, a bridegroom would usually be the life of the party, literally. He would bring crowds with him from all over the nation. His family, his relatives would come with him to celebrate his wedding ceremony with him and his wife. To really understand this a little bit more, we have to also go back into context. What is this passage truly trying to say? And to do this, we have to go back to chapter 24. And I'll be reading from 42 to 51 really quickly. "Therefore be on the alert, for you do not know which day your Lord is coming. But be sure of this, that if the head of the house had known at that time, at what time of the night the thief was coming, he would have been on the alert and would have not allowed his house to be broken into. For this reason you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming out at an hour when you do not think he will. Who then is the faithful and sensible slave whom his master put in charge of his household, to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is that slave whom his master finds so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he will put him in charge of all his possessions. But if the evil slave says in his heart, 'My master is not coming for a long time,' and begins to beat his fellow slaves and eat and drink with drunkards, the master of that slave will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour which he does not know, and he will cut him in pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites. In that place there will be a weeping and gnashing of teeth." Matthew likes to talk about the day of the coming of the Lord being silent and swift, like a thief at night. He wants to tell his audience that the coming of Jesus will not be expected at all. And therefore there are two recipients, 2 audiences, and 2 people that he talks about. He contrasts these 2 people, specifically the slaves that are obedient to him and the evil slaves that are wicked and disobedient to their master. Now, to begin, the faithful slave and the obedient one is put in charge, and he does a very well job. He is obedient to his master, and he loves on his fellow servants and slaves. He treats them right and is therefore rewarded. But on the other hand, the wicked slave does all that is displeasing to the eye of his master, and therefore has received punishment. What does this mean then in chapter 25? Well, Jesus is the bridegroom, and we are the 10 virgins. We can either be the 5 wise virgins or the 5 foolish virgins who are not ready and who are not prepared for his coming. Therefore, the main thing to understand here is that Jesus' time is unpredictable. His return can be within the next couple of seconds or minutes or hours or centuries. But our main goal is to understand that we are given a job and we are to be wise and faithful, and we have to be prepared like these virgins for the coming of the Messiah. So therefore, live and be ready for the coming of the bridegroom. Let me ask you a question to end this. Are you ready?